On the Normandy coast, William, Duke of Normandy, surveys the vast expanse of his assembled army, a sea of armored soldiers and restless horses stretching to the horizon. The air vibrates with anticipation as thousands of soldiers await their leader's command, the weight of destiny palpable. William raises his hand, and silence descends upon the army, every eye fixed on their duke. William's voice booms across the coast. Today, we embark on a journey to claim what is rightfully ours. England awaits. Glory and land shall be the rewards for your courage and loyalty. The army erupts in a thunderous roar, their resolve ignited by William's promise of glory and land. In Harold's war room, King Harold Godwinson stands resolute, the burden of war heavy on his face. Advisors whisper caution. Your Majesty, we urge caution. The men are tired. Let us gather our strength. Another pleads for delay. The Normans have just landed. They are fresh. We should wait for reinforcements. Harold, eyes blazing, counters with unwavering resolve. No, we cannot afford to give them time to entrench themselves. We march at dawn. Harold's army advances through the English countryside, a mix of seasoned warriors and hastily gathered local troops. The landscape blurs as they march south, a desperate race against time. Each step echoes the weight of their mission, a march toward destiny. On Senlac Hill, the Saxon army braces, forming a shield wall against the dawn. Harold strides along the line, his words igniting a final spark of resolve. The shield wall stands firm, a defiant bulwark against the tide of Norman steel. The air crackles with tension as the Norman forces surge toward the hill. On Senlac Hill, the Norman army surges forward, a relentless tide of steel and fury. Norman archers unleash a terrifying storm of arrows, darkening the sky. Thousands of arrows descend upon the Saxon lines, a lethal rain. The Saxon shield wall absorbs the initial assault, a dense barrier against the storm. Shields splinter and crack under the relentless impact. The Saxon ranks begin to thin. The clash begins as Norman infantry charges headlong into the unyielding Saxon shield wall. Steel meets steel in a deafening roar, the initial clash erupting into a brutal melee. Shields splinter and crack, the force of impact sending shockwaves through the ranks. Men fall amidst the chaos, their screams swallowed by the din of battle. The once green hill transforms into a mire of mud and blood, staining the earth with the cost of war. The battlefield becomes a gruesome tapestry of carnage, each fallen soldier a stark reminder of the day's brutal toll. On Senlac Hill, the Norman army initiates a deceitful retreat, their infantry feigning terror as they flee uphill. Saxon warriors, consumed by battle lust, succumb to the ruse, breaking formation in pursuit of what seems a certain victory. Gaps fracture the once impregnable English line, each stride a step further from unity and strength. Hidden Norman cavalry explodes from behind the hill, a concealed menace unleashed upon the scattered Saxons. The earth trembles as the cavalry strikes, their lances finding purchase in Saxon flesh. Weakened and fractured, the English line falters, the relentless pressure threatening to shatter their last hope. Norman cavalry advances onto Senlac Hill, their charge a brutal wave against the Saxon shield wall. The impact shatters the Saxon formation, scattering shields and warriors in disarray. English warriors struggle valiantly, their fierce resistance a desperate attempt to hold the line. Norman cavalry gains ground, their relentless assault pushing deeper into the Saxon defenses. The battle rages. Norman cavalry's advance signals a grim turn for the defending English. On Senlac Hill, Saxon warriors struggle, their resistance faltering under the relentless Norman onslaught. The brutal toll of war etches despair onto the faces of the English, their bodies weary and strength diminished. The once green hill transforms into a grotesque tableau of death, littered with fallen bodies and echoing with the cries of the wounded. The dying Saxon warriors, with their shields battered and swords stained crimson, fight on. On Senlac Hill, King Harold stands, a defiant figure amidst the encroaching dusk, his armor bearing the marks of battle. He battles on, a beacon of courage, leading his loyal housecarls in a desperate stand against the relentless Norman onslaught. Norman knights converge, their focus sharp on the king, recognizing the linchpin of the defense. Arrows descend like rain, steel clashes against steel, the sounds of war echoing across the blood-soaked battlefield. High on Senlac Hill, dusk descends as an arrow hurtles towards Harold, finding its mark with deadly precision. Harold crumples to the ground, his fall, a brutal punctuation mark on the battlefield's narrative. The mighty king's demise sends shockwaves through the English ranks, their resolve visibly cracking under the weight of their loss. A wave of grim realization washes over the battlefield as Harold's death signals a catastrophic shift in the battle's momentum. The scene etches itself into history, a stark and unforgettable cinematic moment of devastating finality. The battlefield descends into chaos as the remaining Saxon forces scatter, their lines broken and hope extinguished. Norman knights relentlessly pursue, their swords glinting with deadly intent, cutting down fleeing soldiers. The ground is now a macabre tapestry of fallen bodies, each a silent testament to the day's brutal struggle. Amidst the carnage, William stands tall. The victor surveys the field, his presence a stark declaration of triumph. Against the dark canvas of the night sky, William's figure commands Senlac Hill, a solitary sentinel over the ravaged landscape. Below him, the battlefield reveals a panorama of desolation, where the fallen lie scattered like broken idols amidst the mud and blood. The chilling wind carries the heavy scent of smoke and death, whispering tales of the day's brutal struggle through the stillness. His gaze sweeps across the carnage, a silent acknowledgement of the price paid for victory. William's voice echoes through the night. England is mine. Inside Harold's tent, flickering torchlight casts long, dancing shadows across the faces of the Saxon survivors. The air hangs heavy with the scent of damp wool, each breath filled with unspoken grief. Shadows stretch and shrink, mirroring the uncertainty etched on their weary faces. They mourn not only their king, but also the kingdom that has slipped through their fingers like sand. Across the serene English countryside, the march of Norman soldiers echoes the dawn of a new dominion. Villages bow in silent submission as William's iron fist tightens its grip. Towns surrender, their banners lowered, and the landscape reflects the somber acceptance of a changed world. The serene fields and rolling hills bear witness to the transformation of England. Amidst the grandeur of Westminster Abbey, William kneels, awaiting the crown. The Archbishop extends the crown, a symbol of power and destiny. The crown descends, and William rises as the newly crowned King of England. The Abbey erupts in cheers, marking the dawn of the Norman dynasty. William stands tall, the weight of the crown symbolizing the future of England, forever changed.